Welcome to the Unleashed Life, where ambitious women take control of their mindset, money, and mastery. I'm your host, Dr. Renée Baker. Let's get unleashed. Welcome to the Unleashed Life. My name is Dr. Renée Baker, and I am your host. Today's guest is someone that didn't turn pain into purpose. She built legacy out of loss. Ambee Stephens is the founder and CEO of EmpowHERment, a nonprofit she launched after losing her father. Instead of breaking under that grief, she used it as a movement that now empowers women through therapy, business coaching, and community. This is not just a story about resilience, it's a blueprint for rebirth. So if you've ever wondered what it really takes to lead with purpose, even when life knocks you down, this one is for you. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Unleashed Life, Ambee. So great for you to be here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor. You know how much I look up to you. So this means so much to me to be able to speak on your podcast. Thank you for asking me.
Well, thank you. I am, the feeling is mutual from day one. This woman is a powerhouse, and you've done so much amazing work. So I'm really excited for the listeners to hear your story and how much you do for the community. And it would be great if you just start with, let's go back to, I'm going to say younger Ambee, before you launched this nonprofit, before your amazing academic, all the work you've done academically, before the platform. You know, what was it that you want to be? I know for me, I always had a thought of, I always remember I was driven, but I always wanted to be, safe, strong, but also soft.
Yeah.
But also powerful. So what about you? What did younger Ambee want, and how did you know that she was a builder, or did you know?
It's so funny because I would never in a million years have guessed I would be doing this. I'm the oldest of 10, but I grew up in a very, I wanted to be a teacher my whole life. I'm just like, I want to be a teacher or a lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer because I knew that my dad would be able to feel safe. And I wanted to be a teacher because I was like, I'm going to teach people how to do better, how to be better, how to know better. So it was interesting because I never really thought I'd be in the nonprofit world. That was never even the community building world. That was never even a part of the plan whatsoever. Growing up, younger Ambee, I grew up taking care of people. So I guess that makes sense. I took care of my siblings, my mom, my grandma. I did a lot of just nurturing. It's funny, I'm doing a lot of inner child work right now. And I've been really just loving younger Ambee because I didn't realize really how much she wasn't even being a young Ambee. She was pretty much young at looks, but was handling things as if she was 30 or 40 years old. So yeah, I think I just was a nurturer. I've always been a nurturer. I've always just wanted things to feel better. I've been an empath since the day I was born. My dad told me that when I was 3, my mom got into a car accident. And at 3 years old, I didn't know she came through the doors, and I didn't know what was going on. I just knew she was in pain. And I just fell to the ground. And I said, Mom is in pain, so I'm in pain. And so I just I picked up on her pain at 3 years old. And I swear it has not stopped since. So it makes sense. But yeah, she just was a nurturer.
Wow. So oldest of 10, natural empath, and a nurturer. And I'd say that's everything that I've seen that you are, but it doesn't seem like you were just, you were a child that was just feeling emotions. Like you said, you were embodying empath even before you even knew the words and what it mean. So it's no surprise that you've become the woman that you have become, creating space for other people's pain to be held and to be healed. And it didn't sound like you just survived. You also sensed. And maybe that's your superpower, Ambee, because what 3-year-old knows to hit the ground and be like, I feel your pain. I'm in pain. So she didn't disappear. She's still here and holding on to communities, which is beautiful, rare, and sacred, I would say.
Yes, I was. It's not funny because it's funny now, but I'm sure when I was 3, I actually thought I could feel her pain. Like I was very serious. It was like, I feel your pain, mommy. Like you're in pain. My dad's like, oh my gosh.
So, but that's so precious, and it speaks to the woman that you are today. And we'll say you 3 years old, you had your mommy's pain, right? And now you have taken the pain from your life and some of the experience that you've carried into adulthood, and with that same tenderness, you've turned it into something powerful. But you were a lawyer, and you wanted to be a lawyer. You went to law school, but there's a big story behind your purpose, from purpose to pain. And what made you trust your calling that was beyond being a lawyer and finding the courage to start over? So maybe getting into that story.
Yeah. So I've been doing some deep healing work and therapy recently, so I can kind of share this in a little bit. It's been my first time sharing it this way, but what I will say is, I always thought that I wanted to be a lawyer because it was going to save, honestly, my family. They were, just battling a lot of things that I think unfortunately, a lot of Black men and women go through. And I was in a season when I was growing up where I kept seeing people that I love being in and out of jail or just getting in trouble due to their environment or their circumstances. And I thought for some reason that if there was just a lawyer that could go to school, be a lawyer, she would save everyone. And I soon realized after my father passed away that really wasn't the case for me. I actually did not even enjoy being a lawyer or enjoy law school. I didn't enjoy any of that type of work, to be honest. It was more so just like an effort to save somebody. Um, I'll share the story. I used to work for the state attorney's office, and my father, most of my life, my dad was, like a incredible man that like just was like I looked at him as like my savior. He was big and bold, and just everyone would be like, this is, like you're in safe company. Your dad's the best. Um, a couple of years before he passed away, his father and best friend died right in front of him. That then made my dad go from being this incredible big Hulk to then suffering really badly mentally. He went into a psychosis and started to do drugs. The drugs led to him being, unfortunately, a victim of drug addiction. And that was really hard for us in my family, especially me. So I'm the oldest, but I was the only girl up until high school. So it was me, all my brothers, and 2 girls. So like I am for sure a daddy's girl, and still am, even though he's not here, um, not here, in human body. But yeah, so he passes. He gets into drug addiction, and that leads to him one day stealing a golf cart from the side of the road, which ends up leading him in jail. He goes to jail, and in that moment, he ended up being in the same place that I was at. So as I mentioned earlier, I used to work for the state attorney's office. So at the state, you can't have the same exact. We had the same name, same last name, and so that wasn't good. Always red flags. And so I thought I was going to advocate for my dad to at least like get him into drug rehab treatment, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, we raised money to put him into drug rehab treatment. The state did, they were able to advocate, and they also advocated for that with the judge. That was incredible. Unfortunately, he passed away 2 days before the drug and rehab treatment. My dad shot himself. And it was something that definitely has triggered me tremendously. But the moments between him going to jail and the suicide, I realized that I do not want to do law school, like law work anymore. I was like, I'm done doing law work. I'm over this. Like there was not enough of immediate attention regarding it. And I also found myself wanting to advocate for his mental health, which was also raising red flags for, what I went to school for. So that's pretty much the long story short of kind of how that shifted. After he passed away, I realized immediately that I wanted more for myself in terms of like my legacy. I wanted to be able to support people. And so I built an organization that was going to be there for me and other women who look like me. I realized if my dad didn't have it, how many other people don't have this as well? And here we are, all these years later.
Wow, I mean, that's such a powerful but and heart-wrenching story. And thinking about what you've gone through and what you've walked through. I mean, I feel every word every time I'm in your space, and even hearing this. This is speaks to how you care, but it also speaks to when we're trying to save people that we love, and the system, and using the tools. It's so layered.
It is.
And that is becomes, instead of being your what did they say, your villain story, it became the origin story for empowerment and how it was born. You chose to move in this direction in the middle of a deep loss, right? And when I think about, not anywhere similar, but when I shifted, it was during a period of loss. And loss has a way, especially when it's so close, of clarifying things in its weird way.
Yeah.
So you switched from being an advocate maybe in the law firm, but you're still
Yep.
very much an advocate.
Yeah, I am.
And purpose sometimes feels heavy, and you do a lot of work with empowerment. So why don't we talk a bit about the work? You shared the story, the journey, but let's talk about empowerment and give us some context around how we got here.
Yes. So, and thank you for asking that question. Empowerment is an organization that gives women light in dark places. So, for me, as I mentioned earlier, right, like going through this dark time, I need the light. What does that look like? We started off just meeting every month. I don't know if you know this, but we used to meet at a little small Chili's on East Bay in Florida. And that was our very first meeting. I had no intentions on having like an organization. It was just going to be like women coming, come as you are, come cry on my shoulder, little old Ambee in her early 20s. That's all.
Right.
And God said, yeah, right. We're not doing that. We're doing something way bigger than that. So that grew. The women that went to the event were like, this is great, but I want more. What else can you provide for us? Like, what else can we get? Like, I need therapy. We need this. And it became this plethora of like, okay, there is a need that is bigger than myself. There's also a need. So I went online to find like where can I find community work? And there was places for like domestic violence and sexual assault and all of these like very important topics, but they were just like one lane, right? And so what I realized is that when you look at like Maslow's hierarchy, there's a hierarchy of needs. At the end of it, it talks about community. And community was one thing that we do not have a need for. I mean, I'm sorry, we do not have it's like not a thing that people are just like trying to start companies with at the time. Now it is. And so the community part was, how do I find something for people who are experiencing financial wellness, issues, or mental health support, people who have never even knew about like budgeting and things like that. And so we built an organization based off of self sufficiency, and that's off of financial, mental, emotional, and the cultivation of friendships, which really is the most important thing. I think of what we do is these like really genuine relationships that really help you build everything else, the confidence piece. So empowerment does several things, from a weekly workshop about financial wellness, free therapy, mentorship, entrepreneurship academy, helping women start businesses. We have launched in several chapters across the world, including Sarasota, Orlando, and even Spain, Barcelona, Spain. So a lot of work, but it's just incredible. And it all starts with just a chapter of women coming together to build community. Through that community, everything else is a layer. But I think there was a big part that was missed way years ago, and that was just building friendships, and that
Right.
trust can do everything else that you need.
I love this. That you weren't, I mean, you were meeting it in Chili's. This was in 2018, right? So you're meeting in a Chili's, not realizing that you're building an organization. But I love that you were answering a need, right? So you came in to lift the burdens from what other people were feeling as you were going through
Yeah,
your own journey.
yeah,
Classic AMB,
yeah.
you've got
Skills.
everyone's back, right? And God that turned that into this movement. And there's also, just so many times when we are going through our own journey. We're thinking that we're the only ones that are going through it. But pain is a weird, I don't know if you align with this, but pain is a weird unifier. Like we all have gone through something, and it's not always just trauma dumping. Sometimes you're just being looking for someone to be able to connect with, so you don't feel that you're just the only one. And I love what you said about the need for community. We were not talking about it. It doesn't seem like it was 2018 was not that long ago. We weren't talking about community. We were just talking about services, right? So now you've launched this, you are helping women at all stages, and it is a very, very and welcoming space. So I'm going to ask you, how do you then go from women saying, okay, what else can you give us? We need more, to building this full fledged system, this organization that's very supportive, that's providing all these support services, and realize that, when did you realize that, what, this is bigger than I thought? We have to move out of the Chili's.
Oh my goodness, Renee, it's so crazy because like I keep saying this, but like I'm so incredibly like blessed and purpose driven to the point where I'm like I don't have an answer to the question because it's bigger than myself. Like I know for sure, like not to preach, but like when I think about like the universe and God, like I'm like, you can't tell me that there's not something bigger than us because this is bigger than me. I do not know. I don't
Right.
know. We went to in 2020, COVID happened. Obviously, like right, our restaurants are closing. There's not much room for this anymore. I was saving money with my ex-husband to buy a house. And he was like, the need was happening. We didn't have a building to go to. And he's like, do you want to just use this money that we were gonna buy the house to then open up a center? And I was like, okay, let's just see what happens. Like, I don't know, let's just try it.
Mhm.
And keep in mind, at this time, I was going to be moving to Spain. Like, I was going to move to Spain right before COVID. Like, there was no intention on like staying here to do this. So it was just very unique. And anyway, so we did it. I opened up a center. We raised funds using this campaign that we did. We raised like $10,000. We renovated a law office over in Clearwater. It was just like a little quaint law office, and that's where we've been since, with several chapters since then. But that's where it came from. And again, like I do not know what came over me to be able to do that. It's just bigger than me. Everyone always asks that question. I'm like, I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't have a good answer for you.
Because you're speaking truth, and that's a real thing. I mean, and when you're walking in your purpose, there's not always going to be a linear answer. People love to say, okay, well, how did you get here? Sometimes it's bigger, and I
Yeah.
believe that too.
Yeah.
And you can't orchestrate that kind of impact. You
Right.
respond to it,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
It's a surrender to a
Yep.
calling.
Yep.
So,
So true.
you're over here talking about buying a house, and God is like, no, 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 I'm gonna build a foundation for
Yes.
you, for other people to stand on,
I'm
which
going to
is
use
beautiful.
you to help other people, and you're not even going to know what you're going to do with it. And you're going to just be here and just be a vessel. But you're right about like being in your purpose. When you're in your purpose, I think things just happen. There's no rhyme or reason, there's no explanation. It just happens. And you just got to be like, okay, I surrender. Thank you very much. Now what?
Yeah, I mean, that's a real thing, especially pivoting in times of uncertainty. You were talking about, when in 2020 there was COVID, everything started to shut down, and then you had to pivot. And while other people were kind of winding down, you were expanding. So, how do you stay anchored when things feel heavy or unstable? And have you ever just, there are days that you're like, you know what? Spain was calling me. I'm about to answer the call. Have you ever wanted to just give up? And what keeps you coming back, other than us saying we need more Ambee?
Girl, you know this answer already, friends. I wanted to go to Spain about every month. Um, I think so. I'll just like pivot a little bit, but just for people listening, the last 2.5 years have been some of the most challenging times in my life, both professionally and personally. I have never wanted to quit as much as I want to quit now, but the need and the outside, like what people see on the outside, like the need, how big we are, like the expansion is bigger than ever. And so for me, like my grounding is really like my small net, like my small group of friends that like really just like keep me sane. They keep me like pushing on. People like you who like I don't have to talk to every single month or day. I don't have to text you like what's going on. I can just say like, hey, I need you. Like, just tell me you love me, and I'm gonna be okay. Like that makes everything else so much worth it. So I think that helps. And honestly, not answering every call, like the call to be like, hey, Ambee, we need you. Like this, we need more. Like, I'm sorry, you need more. I can't give that to you. You gotta, like we've built a place now where I have a great team, and like that's for them to go to. But I think just being honest with yourself is important. But to your question, to your answer your question, vacations are a must. I love going on
Yes.
vacation. I'm going on one in a month. I look forward to the next one. I book them on the vacation, so I know so I have something else to look forward
Same.
to. I always have something on my calendar that's like vacation or a friend day or something. I'm just like, if I can just get through this week, I have something else coming. That's all. That's all I got. That and my dogs, and yeah. It's not a cute
Yes.
answer. It's real out here.
I love that because, thank you so much. Let me just say thank you for saying that out loud because so many of us, so many women, so many of us feel the exact same way. Everyone sees what's on the outside, but they don't see the days that you want to disappear. They don't see the cost of carrying the vision. And, we sometimes just need somebody that's got us. Girl, we got you. Like we're not asking a bunch of questions. It's just like, listen, I just need to feel safe for a moment. I just don't want to hold space for me. And because you do that for so many, it's good for you to be able to have that opportunity for yourself.
100%.
That's right. And that's really important. And I think people forget that while you are carrying other people, so you also need to be carried, and that's not a weakness. And we also have to sometimes give ourselves permission to be able to ask for what you need. And one thing that I love that you always say, I hear you say, you said it to me, and I'm gonna start saying it back to you. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm always here. I'm here. I hear you. I heard you say it yesterday. And you don't even probably realize that. I'm like, I hear you. Like, you say, I'm here. What do you need? I'm here for you. So I think that that's a really important component of being there for someone, but also protecting your peace. And you said that you protect your peace and you refill your cup by going on vacation and taking the time for yourself. But what else are you doing for self-care? Like what does that look like to you? Do you ever just have a day where you're just like in your jammies chilling?
I'm laughing because like I'm trying to figure it out, Renee. I'm so like I love empowerment so much. I love my purpose chaser movement so much, but the days are just really tiring. And you know this. I was at a Sarah Jakes conference a couple of years ago, and she said, "No one asked for this level of scrutiny. No one asked for this level of weight. No one asked for this level of heaviness, right?" And so when you do get it randomly, and it's also coming with a sacrifice, which also means like when I say I'm here, I genuinely mean it. But I think I'm
Yes.
also saying I'm here to say like I am here. I am here. You are okay. You are safe. Like I'm here for you, but I'm also here for myself. So it's a reminder for myself, like, hey, you're here. You made it another day, which means you can help her because you made it yourself. Um, but yeah, I don't have a self-care plan like most people do or people say they do. Let's just be real. I think that's whatever. But I I'm on a 21-day detox right now. So right
Okay.
now I am drinking cucumber juice and pineapple juice with water to like help clear my system. I'm trying to like limit my exposure to negativity, go on walks, but I don't have like a full self care plan like most people do. I don't even know what that really like looks like. I'm open to learning about it, but I haven't found something that really works best for me. Because I do believe that I'm purpose driven. I also believe that like sometimes that like I'm just when people say like have boundaries, like go to bed at 7 o'clock or like don't text back at 7 o'clock. For me, when I say I'm here, that means that like if Renee needs me at 9 o'clock, how can I say at 7 o'clock that I'm unavailable for you? So I don't
Right.
have that level of self care either. So I don't know. If you got a plan you want to give me, let me know. But I don't have a solid one.
I'm still working on it. I've been asking. I'm asking. Like, let me ask as I work on it. And I've been more intentional about it after I left um, corporate for so many reasons. I think it's a thing that we have to unlearn. Like strong women have to unlearn that self-care is selfish because
Mhm.
for so many, as a mom, as a wife, as a employee, as a community leader, it's just like everyone wanted more. And I read a quote last night and I posted it something that said you could be fighting for your life and people will still ask you why you didn't show up for them in the way that you needed them to show up. And I've been there when I was sick, I didn't tell anyone, right? And I've always been so private about protecting my peace, but I also realized that protecting my peace isn't about the things that I don't say. It's also sometimes saying that I can't. I have to say no. And I have to be present for myself. And I have to pause just to make sure I'm still standing, still breathing, still making it through days that would have taken some other people out. So it's definitely a work in progress. I think there's people who, if they have a frequent self care plan, good on them. I try to do my maintenance Mondays, but I change my relationship with them. But sometimes Mondays are madness, not maintenance. So that's how it goes. But sometimes, like you said, the weight is heavy, but the mission feels more like what one woman has to carry, but you also are creating a community of people who can empower you as you empower them.
Yeah, so true. And you're so right about your quote. I saw your quote and I had reshared it because you're right. Like we people, you can be like fighting for your life in many aspects, physically, mentally, and I have my own health journey that I'm going through right now. Um, and it's a constant battle, and people do not everyone cares as much as you would think they would care.
Right.
I'm at a doctor's appointment, a few weeks ago, and I'm at the appointment getting my IV put in, and people are texting me, "Can I borrow this? Can I do this? Can I have this?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm at the doctor's. I'm here. I'm getting my treatment." And it's not even like "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, let me leave you alone." No, it's continuous. Like, okay, so can I have? It's just a lack of like I don't know, consideration, I guess. But I will say the one thing that I am learning in those seasons is that like take people for who they are. And so like when
Mhm.
someone does that to you, or to me at least, I'm like, okay, so now I know that I am a resource to you and not a friend to you. So
Right.
that means that as a friend, I would not do this. So that means that I got to tell myself now, like, this person does not see me as their friend. They see me as a resource, which means that I need to stop putting them as a friend, stop showing up for them as much, put them as in a box of this is just for if you need support. And that was hard for me, but I will say, like, that's my level of self care. It's just like being mindful of who's who. Because we got to admit, right? The most stress comes from other people. It's not even ourselves, it's the outside world.
It's not even ourselves.
It's not even our
On
home,
me,
it's everyone else. Like,
I'm good. Oh, me. It's like, how are you holding up? I was fine until you got here.
it's everything else outside the doors is chaos, but in here is fine. So if
Really,
I work from
I
home,
understand my chaos.
if I work from home, don't answer any phone calls, and just stay inside, then yeah, things are great. That's great self care.
Yeah, but like it's like I'm not your vending machine. You can't just come up and to me and press a button and get what you want and keep extracting. And similarly, I ran into someone and they were saying how, and this person knew that what I'd gone through with my health journey, and they're like, "Oh, I haven't invited you to anything because you don't come to anything." I was literally. You say okay to that because not everyone deserves access, but people think that they're entitled to, you showing up. You're like, "I'm sorry, I was fighting for my life, so I couldn't be there for you, but thank you for showing me who you are,
Yep.
so I can adjust accordingly.
Yep. Thank you
Yeah,
for showing
people
me who
are,
you are. That's a great way to put
yeah,
it. I'm gonna take that from you.
thank you.
Thank you.
And my mom always says, know your people so
Yeah.
you won't be disappointed.
Shouldn't be any surprises, okay?
But I think that just the work that you do and how you continue to build, even sometimes, even as not sometimes, even as you're going through life, right? You're helping people.
Yeah.
But just a bit of a pivot, but in alignment, there's a lot of women out here that are maybe listening to the podcast who are going through something, because we all have something. And there are so many women who are meant for more, who just don't know. And, you're a young woman who's been through a journey. You've started a mission and a moment, a movement, and a moment of pressure. What will you say to someone who's meant for more, but they don't even know, they don't know where to start?
Whew. I would say first, pressure makes diamonds, and we're all in need of some new jewelry.
Hey.
I would also say just start. I think so many of us, women, we want to make sure everything is perfect. We're like, I got to have a business plan and a bank account. And you just want to, you think you got to have all these things. I got to have all these things lined up, and you don't. Just start it. Just make the darn Instagram page, make the website, just start. And if you build it, they'll come. So I think get out of your own way. That's like my number one plan is like just get out of your way. Get out of your own way. Like, you already know what you're meant to do. And also when I talk about purpose, I think about who you were, like kind of how we started, excuse me, as you were a child, like what need were you always fulfilling? What were you consistently doing? Like what were you known for? Ask yourself, like, what does that look like? Because that is linked to your purpose. And then look
Right,
at all the things you've gone through, right? For me, it's been several things, but you look at the things that you're going through, it's like, what is a consistent factor? Your purpose is in there somewhere, whether that could be, a community thing, that could be you make cakes for people, maybe, whatever it is, and then just start, right? If you fail, who cares? Just start something else. I think that we've been told no every day. What's wrong with being told no again? But that's my advice. Start somewhere
100%.
and just keep going and see what happens.
Yeah, I think say that louder for the women in the back. Just start. I mean, when I left corporate, it seemed like a big surprise. And I used to say progress over perfection. But when it came to me, I wanted to be perfect. But I love it. You don't have to figure it out. And plus, I've learned more in
Yeah.
action than I learned sitting in my head ruminating about every move. And it takes courage to say yes and just start. But that's a really important reminder. And faith moves first. So if you move in faith and you trust, whether you trust in a higher, like I trust and believe in Jesus, I believe in God. So if that's my belief, but whatever your belief is, just have the faith, believe if it's yourself, just trust and move because progress over perfection every day.
Yeah. Just move.
Um, just move because it's in action,
Yeah.
it's moving.
Yeah. Just
And so, So, you have shared so much, and I could talk to you forever and ever about all the wonderful work that you do, and just appreciate everything that you've done. And then as we close, I always ask the guests about their unleash moment. What was their moment where something clicked or cracked, and you just couldn't go back to who you were before?
oof. Surprisingly, my unleash moment happened last year, which is crazy because you think it happened sooner, but nope, it happened last year. I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and I will never go back to how I was before. Allowing people to have access to me as much as they did, showing up for everyone, like you said, going to every single event, just got to be in every single room. That might I had a betrayal happen 2 years ago, a divorce last year, and then therapy, the ovarian cancer. When those three things, I was like, no more. Ambee will no
That's right.
longer operate like that again. So because of that, I think that's been like my biggest unleash, uncracked or cracked moment. It just is allowing me the opportunity, I think, to be a new person. I think also when you are trying to evolve, you just realize like what's no longer for you and what is. So I think I'm still figuring it out, but I know for sure I will never be 2024 Ambee ever again, even if that means being uncomfortable. So I'm learning how to say no to things, how to have hard conversations, how to cancel things that I don't want to do, even if it's like not really in alignment, how to ask for help. Like be vulnerable, not to say like, hey, I want to go to this event, but I won't get to that because it's private between me and you. But things like that, just like things that like I'm learning to ask for help. And I've never had that. I've never knew how to do that before. I've always just done it myself and tried to like seem like I had it together and like I'm good. You'll never have to like see me anywhere like needing support, and that's just not the realness of it anymore. So I'm just being more real, and I also want to say like just being okay with like shaking things up. Like if something is not in alignment anymore, like burn it down and start again. So like I think I'm just okay with that now, and I'm okay with not letting my ego and like being like, oh, I don't want people to judge me, or like I want to look like a failure. Like I have quieted my ego, I've killed it, and I'm gonna just show up as best as I can. If it doesn't fit, then it doesn't fit. So that's my end.
I love that, and that's so powerful. Reclaiming your time, reclaiming your body, reclaiming your space, your peace. It's that vital, right? Like this is a time, and I said the same thing. This version of me who you see now, especially when you go through something, being told that you have cancer, nothing prepares you for that. And then when you're dealing with all the other life things, we have to return to ourselves. I said, this is not a breakdown. This is a breakthrough to me,
Yep.
back to me.
Absolutely.
So that's why I created the Unleashed Life, because I said I'm unleashing everything that no longer serves me. I'm gonna be unapologetic about it. And I'm still working through my unapologetic component, but mostly
You're
I'm
doing great.
being unapologetic.
It takes time,
Well,
right?
yeah, right. And I'm glad you learning it earlier than I did, because I'll tell you it's a powerful transition in life. And I say I've been 18 people since I left corporate in 2023, and I like them. I like all of her. I like every iteration of who she's becoming.
I think she's great. I think you are so unapologetic, and it's truly an honor to look up to you. And I think that you're saying I'm learning it now. Yes, because I have people like you who are in my corner being like, do not do what I did.
But
Turn it down now. Live your best life now. And that makes me happy, because that makes me be like, okay, cool. And when I turn 40, how can I look back and be like, okay, I don't want to do the same thing at 40. So let me get through this next couple of years and do it now. So that's kind of what I tell
yes.
myself all the time.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. Like, hey, girl, don't do
Yeah.
that. Or with love, always with love, and you decide. Like, here's the lesson that I learned. You decide. Um, but I just want to say thank you, Ambee. Thank you so much for bringing your whole self, your best self, your amazing self to this conversation. Your story is so powerful, and it's not just inspirational. I think it's more actionable.
Mhm.
And I'm grateful for like who you are, the work you do, how you lead with heart, and you're strategic. Like the lawyer didn't go away. You might not have wanted to do it, but you're strategic. But for those who are listening and want to connect and support the amazing work that Empowerment is doing, or even walk the journey with you, how can they find you to stay in the loop?
Yes, thank you for asking that. You can find EmpowHERment via any type of social media at EmpowHERment. That's EmpowHERment. And then you can also follow me at The Purpose Chaser. That's just at The Purpose Chaser. We are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and I think I've done all of the social media things.
And we'll
There's
also
many more, I
add
don't
them
know
to
them.
the show notes. Yeah, I got you. We'll add them to the show notes. But thank you. If you're listening to this and you're a woman or even a man that's holding back on your calling, you need to just get started. You need to do what it is that you need to do next. Listen, and if you're been moved by this episode, don't let it just sit in your spirit. Share it. Start something. Shift in your life, because as Ambee reminded us, This is a journey, and all that she's gone through, the healing hasn't been passive. Her legacy isn't accidental. She just started. So subscribe, leave a review, and come back next week where we're going to have another conversation that's real, raw, and rooted in transformation. Until then, stay bold, stay grounded, and stay unleashed. And remember, the best is yet to come. Thank you again, Ambee.
Thank you so much. It was great being here.
Thank you for joining us on The Unleashed Life. I hope today's episode has inspired you to break free from financial constraints and societal expectations, cultivating a mindset of abundance and possibility. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform and join our vibrant online community to share your own unleashed moments and connect with like-minded individuals. Until next time, keep breaking barriers, embrace your beautiful, authentic self, and live life unleashed.